So, Jim, last week on the show, I mentioned to our listeners about some new guidance issued by the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi. That guidance it's called, quote, Guidance for Recipients of Federal Funding regarding unlawful discrimination. Now, that guidance, while it's really directed toward recipients of federal funding, it also talks about, it specifically mentions its guidance directed toward private and public entities that receive federal funds, but it specifically stated it should not just be limited to those private and public entities receiving federal funds. And so a lot of people are reading this much more broadly, that it does apply, this guidance applies to the private sector as well, even if they aren't receiving federal funds, number one. And number two, even if they're wrong about that it may not necessarily apply to private entities that aren't receiving federal funds. It certainly offers a glimpse into how the EEOC is going to be interpreting DE&I efforts. And so it's really kind of a significant development here. As we know, the Trump administration has been very focused on ridding the employment workplace of DE&I efforts. And so I'd like to get your initial take on kind of Pam Bondi's guidance. And you're on mute, just so you know. Yep, still on
I'm
mute.
on
There
mute.
you go.
Sorry. Yeah, no, this is a very interesting development, Bert, and this is information that's been sort of coming out in fits and starts since the administration took over, and it goes back to this basic question I think that employers have been asking since late January of this year. It's like, well, what is unlawful DEI? Like, what can I do? What can't I do? Right? Because the administration came out with these executive orders, right, and said, using that phrase, unlawful DEI. Well, what does that mean? A couple of months ago, the EEOC issued some guidance about what that could mean. And then I think this guidance issued just a week or two ago clarifies things even more. A lot of it is, I think, stuff that we already sort of could guess and figure out, but it's, I think, helpful for employers to understand the types of activities, the types of policies, the types of programs that are really going to catch the eye of the administration. And I think this is another example. I mentioned the unitary executive theory, right? This is something where, like in any other administration, I think, DOJ would have its mission, that jives with what the administration's doing. But, it's, the war on drugs, war on terrorism, that sort of thing. The EEOC would have their own mission and stuff too. But in this administration, Trump has this unitary executive theory. And so like the White House, the DOJ, EEOC, they're all in lockstep, marching together on what they view as unlawful DEI. So it's really interesting to me, this sort of like partnership in a way that DOJ has with the EEOC.
Well,
but they've as you can see here. Go ahead, Bert.
Yeah, I think that's right, Jim, and it's something that we frankly have seen building in the federal government for really the last probably 15 years. I think under the Obama administration, we started to see this with agencies, more interagency cooperation.
Yeah.
Then that accelerated under the Trump administration, under the Biden administration. It was called the whole of government approach.
Yes.
And we saw more and more memoranda of understandings between these agencies. And I think under this Trump administration, he's really crystallized it into what you call this sort of unitary theory of government, or the executive branch here. And it is sort of like one big machine marching in the same direction. And so This DOJ guidance that was released again a couple weeks ago really sought to clarify the types of diversity, equity, and inclusion practices and policies that would be considered illegal discrimination by federal funding recipients. It's 9 pages of guidance. It provides, again, non-binding suggestions on best practices. So again, that guidance really only applies to public and private employers that receive federal funds, but it is very helpful for all employers to review and understand the federal government's interpretation of the laws and enforcement policies.
Level up your HR game with an AAIM Employers Association membership. Get 24/7 expert support, exclusive training, and a network of peers. Join thousands of HR leaders building better organizations. Call AIM at 800-948-5700 or visit aimea.org today to learn about becoming a member.